You are now listening to the fastest show on iSports Radio. My name is Daryl Kinsey Jr. Welcoming you to the lap of the extra mile for today, March 19th, 2025. And this is going to be a very special episode, as on Sunday, the Anzia Racing Crux Cup PRoGP will get underway. We've got a lot of great guests coming up to talk about how important this race is and the challenges behind that. We're going to pay some bills, and we'll come back with our first guests right after this.
Hi, eSports Radio fans. This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Are you a fan of Minnesota sports? Do you love the Vikings and hate the Packers? Are you a fan of the Timberwolves, Twins, Wild, Lynx, St. Paul Saints? Here on the Bold North Breakdown, we'll talk about all of those professional teams as well as all the college teams in the area. That's your basketball teams, football, hockey, volleyball, men's and women's sports alike. We talk about them all. Here on the Bold North Breakdown. Join me, your host, Glenn Ritter, every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central to discuss all that is happening in the Minnesota sports scene here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
We're back here on the Extra Mile on iSports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. It's Daryl Kinsey Jr. here with you this evening. And about 10 years ago, an individual by the name of Chris Roberts had the idea for a video game. Not just one video game, the ultimate video game when it came to spaceships and space exploration. That game is called Star Citizen. And in the last 10 years, the game that has been under near constant development with hundreds of thousands of users and several hundred millions of dollars poured in, that game is developing in leaps and bounds to what we are going to see on Sunday. And to help me talk about all of this when it comes to the Crux Cup side of things in Anzia Racing is going to be an IE Sports Radio first, because I believe this is going to be the first time we've ever had a VTuber on the show. As joining me now is really the reason I'm here with Anzia Racing now. Echo Bit joins us. Echo, hello. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yep, we got you just fine.
Volume okay? Yeah, yep. Let's go. Hello, everyone.
Echo, thank you so much for joining us. So tell everyone a little bit about yourself and what you do with Anzia Racing.
I am Ichabod, presiding officer for Anzia Racing, professional racer, VTuber extraordinaire from Australia and New Zealand. Lovely to meet you. I run community races. I've been doing so since 2016, but this race itself has been running much longer. I came in later as a volunteer, and then now I'm helping run the show. So yeah, hello everyone.
So how did So we all have our own stories of how we got involved with Star Citizen. What was yours? What sucked you in?
So I used to play Chris Roberts. He helped produce Microsoft's Freelancer, and I loved the open world of that. And that to me is like Star Citizen is Freelancer 2.0 to me. It plays almost identically in every way. It's just you have even more open world unlocked to you. Star Citizen is a game where you have no loading screens, even traversal between solar systems is seamless, loaded in and out seamlessly on your client. It's just that the leaps and bounds technology have made have surpassed even my own expectations, and I think anyone that is into space games should definitely check out Star Citizen. I started as a volunteer. I came in 2016. I was a little bit skeptical of the project because it was a Kickstarter back then, but I had Gentleman Chairs and Algorith. They were running this Crux Cup, and I'm into racing. I used to race in Freelancer as well, and I do a Seto and iRacing racing as well. So of course I wanted to find a racing scene, and just volunteered. And then after having a really good time with them and knowing this is where I want to be in the game, I said to them, I want to take this to the next level. I want to make it a proper esports and tournament. And so we built for many years the foundations for what would become Crux Cup in the Persistent Universe, and here we are today, 10 years later, doing Formula One and Le Mans style 24-hour endurance races, 24 hours for the first time this year. So that is my story in a nutshell.
And you hit a little bit about where I was going to go next, which is the evolution of the Crux Cup. I was there for the Open GP race, or the Open Cup race last week, and to just have 36 ships in lockstep going across the start-finish line, all the camera ships that everyone's going to see on the stream on Sunday at twitch.tv/Anzia Racing, everything that goes into it. How do you look at where we started, where you guys started with the Crux Cup and Star Citizen to where we are now?
Yeah, so a little bit more on the evolution of the Crux Cup. I would say it evolved with the game first. So we started in Arena Commander in 2015, and we've been running Arena Commander all the way up to 2011. And then when we got Crusader, Orison, it's a massive gas giant for anyone that doesn't know. They added a huge fighting cloud city. I've been looking for structures that were large enough, because before we just had small space stations like Port Olisar, and this one was a true mega cloud city. So if you think Bespin City from Star Wars, it's that, but it's like you can explore every inch of it, and it's like hundreds of kilometers long, maybe 300 kilometers long. Absolutely massive city. I built the first track, the Ahumahi Ring, out of that. It's 4 largest industrial platforms with massive tunnels that you can fly around, which would become how we do multiplayer community spaceship racing today. So yeah, it grew from like the small simulation tech demo to moving into the fully persistent universe in 2012. So yeah, so 2020 is when I moved into there. And today we've just been evolving it, growing with the game. We've been designing technical regulations for the stability of the game. And now that we have this patch 4.0 introduces a whole bunch of server stability and optimizations. Now we can do what we've always wanted to do, 24-hour endurance, making it significantly more Formula One. So combined results will be next year. This year, this is our last one where we're just doing individual makes your team result, because we've just been trying to fight crashes in the game and to desktop. But yeah, it's always evolving. Every year it gets bigger and better, and I'm very excited for this one in particular.
Yeah, you spoke about that timing and scoring. We have a brand new timing app that we're going to be able to use this week. Talk about it.
So I'm also like the programmer and graphic designer and sort of Unicorn All-Star of Enza Racing and the Crux Cup. Any of our live stream content, graphics, or the website or programming that I do. I programmed our race timer. I looked at some real life inspirations, like running races use apps where they get you to enter in a bib number of runners going across the line. I took that as a sort of base foundation, and I swapped out entering bib numbers and for just clicking RSI handle buttons as they went across the line. And we use that as the basis to form our own internal race timing app. And then that's what I give to the race director. And it also has flag controls, so they've got green flag, they've got formation lap, they've got checkered and white flag lap, all of that stuff you'd expect in endurance racing. And that controls the live stream overlay. So all of that I've done over many years, and it didn't always start as beautiful as it was. It was just a basic app for just recording people's laps while we were just doing races out in the middle of anywhere. Like we wanted to run races anywhere in the PA, the persisting universe. So we had to build these race timing apps, and now I've brought online the ability to mirror what we see as race officials onto the ANZA Racing website, which anyone with an ANZA account can access. So you can see the live standings in real time now, just like we see it on our race official dashboards. Anyone can log in and see that at anzaracing.com/race. So we're very excited to bring that online. That opens up new feature gameplay for team captains, race engineers, and any supporting pit crews that will be coming online in future Crux Cup races. So as the game evolves, we also evolve the tools with it, so that we can support the racers and their vision and dreams of this game and racing.
Sorry, I was muted. I didn't want to hear people hear me typing, but we got about 2 minutes left before we go to our next segment. So what are your thoughts on the race this weekend?
I'm really excited to be running PRoGP. So the Crux Cup, it's traditionally been made up of multiple classes. So the very first classes in Arena Commander, and for many years throughout its Arena Commander years, has been made up of A-Crux, which is the fastest pilots in the game, combined with the fastest ships. Then we've had Open Class, and that's just been your favorite ship, any ship goes. But that we've changed over the years so that we just make it any other ship that isn't in a dedicated racing class. You can race any other ship in there, so it's for those that just want to race any ship or just want to try maybe a combat ship for its speed. You can race anything in that one. And then we have the Aurora class. We've always had these three core classes in the Crux Cup. The Aurora classes, everyone races at the same speed. So those are the three concepts. And then we've sort of evolved that over the years. So we've got now 2 large competitions of OpenGP, which we had last weekend. So that includes Open Class and Aurora, and a new one called Heavy for large industrial ships. And now we have a mutually exclusive category, I would say. This is a whole category where we have A-Crux and 2 extra speed tiers of AX2 and AX3. And these are like your Le Mans, like LMP1, your GD3, GD4 classes, they're prototype and hybrid car classes and all of that. So it's exactly that. PRoGP is meant to be like the dedicated racing ships. Then we speed tier categorize them into those A-Crux, the racing classes, and we pit things like the M50 and the Mirai Razor against each other in A-Crux. You'll see the 300 series in AX2. You'll see the Sabre Peregrine and the Mustang Gamma and Omega in AX3. So yeah, we speed test and benchmark all of these ships before we run these competitions as well, to see where they'll land and what will create some really cool battles. And then, because it's mutually exclusive with OpenGP, all of the professional racers gravitate into these classes, these ships and these speed tiers, And what you're going to see is the best of the best, the fastest in the Empire. These are the top players in the game and their racing teams and their organizations. It's basically Formula One. We're trying to create that as an esport in Star Citizen, and this is where it's happening.
Sorry, we're doing it live here with the mute and unmute. But Echo, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be a part of this. Thank you so much for bringing me along as well for the ride. Lenz unfortunately could not make it tonight, but I'm so excited to be calling the race with him. And I know it's late over there, so I'm going to let you go and have a good one.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for coming. Yeah, I catch Tornado Dash here on the PRoGP. Very excited to run these races with you. See you all.
All right, Echo, thank you so much. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to start talking with some of our racers in the AX3 and AX2 categories on the other side of this break here on the Extra Mile on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all. That is sports.
What's up, everybody? This is Darren Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunder Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
You guys can't see me, but I'm dancing back there when we have those intros going on. We're back here with the Crux Cup PRoGP preview show. Daryl Kinsey Jr. and EchoBit joining with us here this evening. Echo, if you can stay around as long as you would like. This is a big event for you guys as well. And I'm going to go ahead and pop some comments we had in the chat. Start with Oleg Lime. There's only two classes, those that are guys I can catch up with and the guys I can only see at the start line. I feel that a lot when I do racing in other classes. Larry asked the $1 million question, Echo. Were you dancing too during the break?
I was dancing.
Just give me one second. I got some technical difficulties over here. But hey, as we mentioned during the break, there are three categories of racing when it comes to the Crux Cup. There's AX3, AX2, and our, going to get this name right, the A Crux racing class. We're going to start with our drivers in AX3 and AX, or say rather pilots in AX2 and AX3 as we welcome now in Dirk of Sanguis Luna Racing Team and the team captain of Sanguis Luna and Commander Tenna joining us from the AX3 category. Welcome in both of you.
Hey.
Hope you can hear me.
Yep, we got you all good.
Cool.
So Dirk is starting in the pole, or starting on pole position in the AX2 category with Sanguis Luna with his teammate Gerbo the Gnome, while Tenna and S Rock will be outside of row 9 with Bobby Kobiso in AX3. I just wanted everybody to know where you're starting. I'm not trying to make start any rivalries here, but
I'm laughing at Echo. Echo's got a little bit of bias there.
Yeah. Hey, there you go.
Oh, there it is.
There we go.
Hey, so gentlemen, welcome. And same question I asked with Echo. How did you get involved in Star Citizen and racing here in the game?
You can go ahead, Tenna.
Oh, all right. So I actually started, 2 years ago now? 3 years ago in Crux Cup 2953. Completely out of the blue, on a whim. I can't even remember where I heard about it from, but I heard about it, and I had just bought this code to get this ship called the Saber Raven, which I bought because it's a gorgeous looking ship. And I looked at it and said, that kind of looks like a racing ship. It's not actually a racing ship, but it kind of looks like one. So I signed up alongside my wingmate Bobbit, and we were going to race together, but he couldn't make that race. So I flew for us both for that one race and didn't make a podium position, but flew in the open GP amongst some of the guys who are now racing Pro GP or who I've seen, multiple years in a row. And it's been a bit of history ever since. Now I'm helping out the Anzia crew with camera work. I've helped out with trying to get more people out of the Raven Owners Club interested in racing, just to get more people into it. And I can't claim the credit because CIG never talked to me. But the Saber Peregrine, which I'm going to be flying on Sunday,
Nice,
looks awfully similar to the Saber Raven.
The Saber is my personal ship. I have that and the Firebird. I've not gotten the racing version yet, but I do want to pick it up eventually. And Dirk, how did you get involved with racing?
Well, I had a good friend of mine named Scuttled, who doesn't do much racing anymore, but he's faster than I am. So if he ever comes back, he'll beat me for sure. But he got me into it. He just kept pushing me like, "Hey man, you gotta come try to do this. Come check out. There's another community called XGR. Come check this out. Come try these classes." And then at some point I was like, all right, screw it. I'll try it out. And then I got addicted. And I've been racing. Man, it's got to be more than 2 years. It's been it's maybe 2.5 years now. It's been a while. I've been in and around the scene a lot. I eventually started the Sanguis Luna Racing Team. I was actually for a brief moment part of Black Star's racing team before I started Sanguis Luna, so there's some history there. But it's been great. Now I'm so deep into it. I run a podcast specifically for Star Citizen Racing called the SCR podcast, Star Citizen Racing Podcast. It's been wonderful. It's with host that alongside Jacqueline and Billboy, and we bring on guests all the time. So I've done Crux. This will be my third regular Crux Cup. I'm excited to run a team for the 24-hour Crux. I don't know if I got that, because where is it? Hang on. A big flag.
Very nice.
From Echovit. Yeah. So I'm really excited to do that. And it's just, racing's been great. It's a great time.
Yes, and that 24-hour will be next week, the 28th, or let me actually get those dates correct. That will be the 29th and the 30th. So that's Saturday and Sunday. Very excited for that. So we've got one representative of AX2, one representative of AX3. Definitely some differences in those ships. Why don't you talk about the performances of the ships that you guys are going to be racing, and talk about the traffic management, especially from the AX3 side of things, because in AX3 you're gonna have everybody going past you. And then AX2 is more like the LMP2 of this race, where you guys are gonna be passing the AX3s, but you're also going to have the Pro Cup ships coming by you as well.
Yeah. Yeah, AX2 is a good 20 seconds faster per lap than AX3 is from what I've seen.
Yeah, just looking at the documentation earlier, you guys are going to be I'm going to see Durnk going past me probably at least 3 or 4 times over the course of that hour-long race. I guarantee it. I think it's going to be interesting. So, like, you see people, you see racers doing, solo practice or practice with like 1-2 other people on the track, and you see them making these really close turns right up against the line of the tunnels and all that stuff. And it's actually really interesting because one of the things I talked to a racer about at Enter Atmosphere just after CitizenCon was that, yeah, that's great for practice laps and doing like the solo time trial race missions when they exist, but in an actual race situation, a lot of those speeds slow down just a little bit because there's so many other pilots out there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a lot of it. It's my first time doing any kind of like pro GP racing. I've only done open before. So for me, this is going to be, I'm just going to try not to crash.
That's a big thing. I think there's a cost benefit analysis to it that you have to do during the race, because Durnk, you watch the qualifying laps and everybody is cutting it razor thin exiting from under the platforms, but when you go into the race, you're going to have up to, I think, about 35 other ships out there with you. How do you make the decisions on whether or not, are you going to run that qualifying line, or are you going to be more conservative because you need to catch the ship in front of you, but you also don't want to crash because it's about 3 minutes to get back get the ship prepared and then get back out there. And by the time you've done, you've lost several laps.
It's a huge loss. Yeah, crashing is always very deadly. I think prioritizing staying alive is always your number one priority during these races. And so, yeah, the lines do loosen up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I will say we'll see on the race day, but let's just say don't be surprised if some people's lapping laps are faster than the fastest qualifying times were. There's been a lot of track dev done since those times were posted even. And I, like, even from my guys in Sanguis Luna, yeah, everyone's gotten faster. So we'll see how it goes on the day itself. Basically, my strategy tends to be the first lap is all about survival. You don't really worry too much about being in the lead. Fortunately, my position, and for the other Sanguis Luna guys too, we're sitting on pole. So there's an advantage there where as soon as green flag drops, and this is kind of a team mentality that we have about this too, we tend to immediately start pushing as soon as green flag drops because you want to get a little bit of gap and not worry about someone putting pressure on you. And then after the first 2 laps shake out, not all teams have this, but we have a race engineer who keeps track of lap times and lets us know how close the guy behind us is. And we kind of make a game day decision on how we feel about how close they are. Okay, time to start cutting the corners a little bit tighter. You've got to gain a second a lap so that you can build a little bit more leadership economy versus, hey, you've got a ton. You're a minute ahead. Just chill. You can slow down, lose 2 seconds a lap. It's not going to matter, but stay alive, and that's going to be more important. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, genuinely, I think it'll be exciting to see Echo. You keep an eye on the fastest laps because I bet you're going to see faster than even the fastest qualifying times that were posted on race day.
Yeah, I'm anticipating at least a 5-second gain from what I've seen. So yeah, good luck to your team. I know you put the work in practice and you'll do very well.
All right, so last question before we wrap up this segment to both of you. We'll start with Tenna. What would it mean to win your class? And hey, I've almost seen it happen in real racing, and I've actually seen it happen in real racing before. If that A-Crux class runs into trouble, what would it feel like to win overall as well?
I think for myself and Bobbitt, I can't speak for him, but I think for myself, at least personally, taking not even first place, but taking any of the podium positions, even third, like to me would be absolutely enormous because again, I've only ever done open GP. I've never done the high speed getting there, pushing hard, pro level of racing. I've seen it done. I've loved watching it, but I've never been in that situation. So to take my first pro GP race and to come away with a podium, and if we pulled the win, even better, would just be absolutely phenomenal. And it would, I think it would go a long way towards the guys who've supported myself and Bobbitt out of the Raven Owners Club to see, we've gone from, hey guys, I'm gonna, fly for the org in this big race that I just found out about 2 weeks ago, to, hey guys, I've been trying to set up as like our sort of official, I guess, race captain for the org, and taking it to that next level of, yeah, we've proven it can be done. Who wants to put put themselves in the chair and actually go fly this?
Yeah, I love. It's cool when you see there's a few different teams, and I've been trying to push it inside the community to get more teams going, because I think that's the next evolution of Star Citizen Racing is a lot of like proper teams. You see it with Blackstar now, and I'm sure we'll see more of it with S-Rock. This is becoming a trend. Frontier, another great team. Sire Racing, all these groups, and you'd be surprised how much there is even behind them. Like, yeah, there's the pilots racing, but there's almost twice the number of people behind them supporting them, whether it's money or whether it's getting them help to practice when they need it.
Yeah.
All right, Dirk and Commander Tenna racing in AX2 and AX3 on Sunday. Gentlemen, thank you so much, and good luck during the race.
Thanks
for having me.
Good luck, fellas.
So before we go to break, we do have our one of our guests that was late arriving, my broadcast partner for Sunday. I'll be joining him, actually. Lens Nation is also here. Lens, thank you so much for joining.
Hello. Good morning. It's a day yet. Hello.
I didn't want to leave you hanging. Hey, it's nice to finally put a face to a name, even virtually, and I can't wait to have you here with this third segment where we get in to talk with our Crux competitors, who we will talk to on the other side of this break here on the Extra Mile on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
What's up, Pittsburgh? This is Ralph Calise, the host of the Injury Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Are you that passionate diehard Steelers, Penguins, Pirates, or just a Pittsburgh sports fan? Then please join me on the Injury Report every Tuesday on IE Sports Radio, the direct feed for all that is sports, and I will update you on all that's black and gold. Have you telling your Pittsburgh fans and friends what's up with Pittsburgh sports. Tune in Tuesday with me, Ralph Calise, the Injury Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's go!
And we're back here on the Extra Mile on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I want to say thank you to everyone that's been in the chat tonight. It has been lively this evening on the Crux Cup Pro GP preview show. Daryl Kinsey Jr. here with you, joined by EchoBit and Lens Nation. Lens and I will be on the call on Sunday.
Hey, I'm here to represent Anzia, but I'm also here to represent Cruise Industries. We are the biggest sports energy drink manufacturers in the world. Our stocks have been going up high. You should definitely buy our stocks.
So real quick before we get our next guest in here, it's been 10 years of racing here with the Crux Cup. I think it's grown with the evolution of the game. What are your thoughts on what the fans are going to see on Sunday?
Oh, there's so much happening, mate. This is my 1 year anniversary with Anzia, to be honest, because I started as a cameraman 1 year ago in the open GP, and before that, I did not know anything about Anzia or the racing. I knew the racing was there in Star Citizen. I just did not know how powerful it was, so I had no knowledge. Echo reached out after seeing the. Oh, that's a long story. Let's not even go there. But what I'm trying to say is that when I joined as a cameraman in the Open GP and I saw how amazing it was the Gold Dust track on Laurel. We had so many different ships in the heavy class. It was only the second year of heavy class. It was extreme entertainment. Now it is 1 year has passed, and somehow things have turned out that I have become one of the commentators. The production value, the stakes, the teams, everything has multiplied. So what's happening this Pro GP and weekend after that? It's full on show. You had your first row seat in the open class. You were sitting right there on the platform, and you enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it in our Discord. It was like, no, it's just me. I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here watching the race, just trying to get a handle on things before next week. But no, I'm excited, and the category we have coming up now, I would describe it as the LMP1, the GT prototype, whatever they want to call it now, hypercar in endurance racing.
Hypercar hybrids.
Yes, these are the folks that you pay your ticket to your admission to see. These are our drivers in the A Crux category. Jacobin and Tint are with us this evening. We have, and I'll read off both of where they're going to start on Sunday. Tint for Frontier Consolidated will start outside of row 3 with Arakaji. And Jacobin will be our overall pole sitter for Sanguis Luna with Fresh 001. Gentlemen, welcome, and thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how long have you guys been racing, and what drew you to racing here in the Crux Cup?
Jack, you want to hit it first?
Oh, sorry. All right. Right. So I've actually been on Star Citizen since like late 2023. So I had been following Star Citizen loosely over the years, but one day they released the Inside Star Citizen on Racing, and where they showed the Fury LX, they showed all the racing ships out on track, and I was like, wait a second, there's a racing scene in this game. How did I not know about this? So I started digging into it, and I started finding XGR stuff, Anzia stuff, and I said, this is my time now. So I bought a pledge, and from day one of me starting Star Citizen, the very first thing I wanted to do was just get into the racing community. So I joined all the communities, Atmo, Anzia, XGR, and I just tried to join as many races as I could from the beginning. And I actually joined, my very first large-scale race was actually Crux Cup of last year, which I took part in the AX2. I went straight to pro. I wanted to fight with the big boys there. So, and we actually did manage to come out on top in AX2 as well. Obviously, I had a very, very good teammate in Fresh. He's probably the fastest racer on the grid, hands down. So kind of had a lot of help getting prepared for it, but it was very, very helpful, and helped me get to where I am now. So
And before we go to Tint, Draconis in the chat on YouTube. The marketing hook got you. If that's all of us, I think, here sitting here, we all saw that marketing hook and got dragged in and probably spent concerning amounts of money on virtual spaceships. But we're not going to talk about tonight. We're just going to stay focused on the racing this evening. Both of you are racing in the top class on Sunday, which is where a lot of focus is going to be, and it is a close field. We look at the qualifying times. Tint, we'll start with you. Just talk a little bit about how that battle in the top class is going to be once all of you get on the track at the same time.
I think it will always come down to survival. And it's all well and good to absolutely push these qualifying times and to do really dumb stuff in our qualifying laps. I mean, I think you've all seen the clip of the M50 flick that I threw into my quali lap.
The 10 flick.
That's 10 flick now.
It's great that we have those lines in our pockets and that we can bust them out when we've got some clean air. But if OpenGP showed us anything, it's that with the race times having really tightened up between all of the classes, and with there being so much less of a differentiator between a slow ship and a fast ship and a slow pilot and a fast pilot, we're now fighting for tenths where we used to fight for seconds. And so the single crash is realistically going to take, I think, any pilot from a podium contender to, 4th, 5th, 6th place straight out of the jump.
And Lenz, we saw some of that during the Open race last week, where we had going into, I think that was the second turn, we had a wreck on the first lap, took someone out, and then one of the leaders in the Open category, that heartbreaking crash halfway through that really ended the battle in that class as well.
Yeah, OpenGP was a lot of all the podium places crashed. Like Astro did, Red Wolf did in Aurora class, and then Astria. Astria was, to our understanding at that stage, was second in the class, but he was third actually, and they all had damage. So yeah, Tint Flick is dangerous, guys. Make sure you know how to do it. Take a master class with a Tint. Tint, how much do you charge to teach us that?
I'll be honest, either you can do it and it's really surprisingly easy because the M50 is a weird ship, or you can't, and I don't know that I can do it.
I'll already pick I can. I've already picked I can.
DM me and ask about it. That's always on the table.
And Jacketin, I saw some of your qualifying, or not some of your testing earlier today. You playing fast and loose with the exits of the platforms. Everyone's searching for that last 100th before Sunday, but how do you make that cost benefit analysis during the race when you have to make decisions in tenths, not full seconds?
Yeah, so it's very tricky because in the beginning of the race, the track is clean, right? And obviously in our position, having started on pole in the 8 Crux, it means we are leading the whole pack, right? So if you have the pole sitters of AX2 are still technically sitting in the middle of the whole pack, so there's even more risk there. But being in pole in the 8 Crux kind of gives you that clean air. So for the 8 Crux division specifically, you kind of want to see where you're going to get that benefit within the first few laps, because once the track starts settling down, that's where the chaos really starts. So the majority of the race is probably going to get flipped on its head around halfway through, because you have ACRUX and AX2 kind of catching up with each other. So you start overtaking slower ships ahead of you. Also, which AX2 and AX3 are both very big ships, right? You have the Peregrine and the 300 series, which are very large ships. So they take up a lot of space in the tunnels as it is. So if you already have a battle going on between two AX2 ships and you have to kind of sneak past through, you have to adjust your line accordingly. So yeah, for qualifying and even for testing, you kind of see, so how close to the wall can I get? And then you just have to use your better judgment at that time to see, okay, do I have to go on the outside line or the inside line? So the trick really is during your testing, make mistakes on purpose, just to be able to adjust your lines at any given situation, because even if these big ships, if they try to go for that inside line and they crash, you just have debris blocking that inside line now. So that just, if you try to fly through it, you're risking an accident from debris. So there's a lot of variables that will happen around the mid part of the race that will just completely flip it on its head. So survival is very, very important, especially when you're trying to find those tents.
Yeah, and what you said really stuck out to me. Speaking about, you have racers in different classes all in their own battles. I got the opportunity to go to the Rolex 24 in Daytona back in January, and watching from the infield for a portion of that race and during practice, you could see it where you got the GTP, which is our name for hypercar, trying to get through the traffic with the LMP2 cars, and you've got two of them battling themselves, and then the poor GT3 cars are they're just trying to do their thing, and they've got faster cars on the left of them, faster cars on the right of them, just trying not to crash. There's a lot of traffic management that's going to have to go into this from all three categories. How do you make that traffic management work in your favor to stay in your class battles without accidentally ruining someone else's?
Well, I think in a lot of respects, especially some of our longer term runners in the Crux Cup, this year's actually going to be really different for them because we were used to having a much wider speed differential between racing classes. We went with, 2 years ago, the last time we were on this track, there was a full minute of difference between the Heralds running a Crux at the time were getting just over 3 minutes, and Razors were getting around 4 minutes. And so you had a lot more passes, but they were happening a lot more quickly.
Mm-hmm.
This year, with the way that the flight model has changed, everything is kind of compressed down to where we've got less than a 30-second gap across the entire field, really. And so we're going to have fewer passes to manage, but those passes are going to take longer. They're going to have to be way more intentional. They're going to have to be way more set up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, as Dirk was alluding to earlier, part of it comes down to having a race engineer, somebody who can tell you, hey, you've got this clump of people that's this far out ahead of you. You probably want to save some boost when you hit the next turn so that you can try and push past them in one go. Some of it's going to come down to just individual pilot skill and seeing the obstacles coming.
Yeah, for sure. Like, the boost is definitely going to play a part for overtaking, but it also comes down to, you want to get the overtake done on the slower ships ahead of you, but at the same time, what's the gap to the guy behind me, right? So a lot of the trick to this kind of race, where the track on paper looks very simple. In my opinion, these simple looking tracks are the hardest ones to pull off, because it all comes down to the perfect flight technique, right? As we call it, the TVI management, and making sure that your turns are as snappy as you can. And there will always be in any track the most optimal boost strategy, where you're always maximizing your top speed on the straights, or maybe pushing past the turn really quick. So if you're going to have to expend your boost or save some extra to use it later, how much are you compromising from the guy behind you? So there's a lot of mind games happening here. And yeah, as Tint said, having that race engineer in your ear telling you, listen, you have kind of like a 30-second gap, and the guys in front of you can probably catch up if you just spend more boost. Yes, the gap to the guy behind you will probably close in, but you have created a new pack for them to get past. So you might kind of get that leeway back. So there's a lot of mind games happening. And yeah, as Tint said as well, the ships are really close, so the passes won't be a split second, right? You have to be very smart and very strategic about your passes. It's all mind games.
So I don't want to keep you guys too long. The magic of time zones here. I think I'm the only one that's at a decent hour right now. So I'll wrap up with this question. What would it mean to take the win on Sunday for both of you? We can start with Tint.
I think for me, obviously it's a huge achievement. It's a big win, not just for me, but for my team. And the org that backs us and funds us and buys us racing ships, and we love them for it. And I think for me personally, also, there's kind of an element where my Crux Cup win in 2023 kind of had an asterisk on it in my own mind because we were all battling hanger issues that presented sort of a roulette effect of who was going to get screwed over by refueling and pitting. And you could have, anywhere from a 15-second pit stop to a 2-minute pit stop if things went absolutely disastrously bad. So I would absolutely love to rack up a second championship and have no sort of special little tick mark on it in my head.
Jacketin, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge achievement just simply because of the fact that the guys on the grid are just super big names in the racing community, right? Like, I mean, as I said, I'm relatively new to the scene, and I am blessed that I've had such a fantastic team to help me get to where I am now. I mean, I am an insanely competitive person, and when I really want something, I will grind the hell out of it to get to where I am now. And I still have a long way to go, but I've had a lot of support to get to here. So, for one, landing a good position is just a way to thank the team for everything that they have done to help me get here. And also, being able to just go up to the big boys, like you have a Bolt Dog, there's Tint, who's obviously a massive name in this racing community, there's Fresh, there's so many names. Just to be able to say I landed the top spot against all of these guys is such, it's very rewarding. And also Ansia offers a nice one-off star every year for it, just to say you're the fastest guy in our community. So just a bit of achievement points there in the community.
That's right. The other thing. I mean, Jacko and I both have one each. We got to fight it out for who gets two.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be watching that battle.
It might be the first time this year that we hand out a repeated A Crux star. I really hope either of you can win that.
All right, Jacketin, Tint, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck on Sunday.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
So there you have it for those of us that have been in Star Citizen and those that we are bringing to a new audience today here on IE Sports Radio. This is a race with a lot of importance. There is a growing scene of racers in Star Citizen, whether it be on the ground or in space like it will be on Sunday. It's growing, it's fostering, it is a community that is living, and Echo Lens on Sunday, the 10th anniversary, it's a mile marker of where we've been, but the sky's the limit for where we're going.
Absolutely, I'm really looking forward to it. The PRoGP is shaping up and evolving every year. This is the last year we do individual results, make the overall results. Next year we're going full Formula 1 where we combine the results. So now that the game's getting more stable, I'm keen to see how Falcon performs this year. We'll keep an eye on it, but I'm really looking forward to it. We had such a great race in OpenGP, nice ever issues, very low amount of client issues, mostly on the staff side. The races I think had a great time. So Star Citizen is coming together. It's playable right now. There's that huge racing community that's growing. If any of this sounds interesting and you like spaceships, get into it today.
It is it's a testament to the game. Like, it's been 10 years, just not a small number. 10 years. My son is 11 actually. So this Crux Cup has been going on for such a long time. And to everybody who participated, who has been part of this journey, and we are still in alpha. So as you said, Dash, yeah, it is. The sky is the limit. There's so much that can be done. And the team which is involved with it, like Echo, the kind of work that she puts into it, I got to see that very closely this year. And it is a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of, forget about time, really. It's more about how much genuine passion there is that goes into it. Same goes for everybody who's right here in the chat. Like every participant who comes to make these races awesome. I'm just very happy to be part of these people. I still don't know many of them, but they're all very good people. So it's a good place to be at. So with all the craziness happening in the world, we are a very nice community. That's what I would say.
And I get to enjoy ProGP with you both this weekend. You both are commentating. I'm so grateful that you, Tornado Dash, and Lens could come and help me for this one. This is probably like one of my favorite races in the Crux Cup PRoGP. I used to do the volunteer race official duty for the A-Crux. I used to run the A-Crux lobbyists back in the day. So this one is close to my heart. Like, I love watching the pro racers battle it out, and we get to highlight them, we get to talk about them, and share the wonderful passion that they have and explain it to all our viewers and really highlight them. So I'm really looking forward to this weekend with you both.
Well, thank you so much. And it was a chance meeting that I was even here. And I have to give a shout out. He couldn't join us tonight, but the Missile, who is starting on, I think, outside row 4, he got me, got in touch with Echo and shared some of the hydroplane commentary that I've been doing that he raised. Actually, he had a pretty good showing in our All-Star race on Saturday. And the rest is history. It's my first Star Citizen race that I get to commentate. I'm so excited, and I can't wait to share it with all of you. So we're about 3 minutes before we get out of here. Remember, the Crux Cup PRoGP will be Saturday, 6 a.m. EST. Echo, do you know the UTC on that?
10 UTC for these races.
Yes. So this year it was weighted towards Echo's side of the pond. Next year, thankfully, will be weighted towards my side of the pond, so I don't have to wake up as early. 4 a.m.
Yeah,
4 a.m. call time. I'll drink plenty of coffee. I'll be fine. You can watch that race on twitch.tv/Anzia Racing. You know, if you're in the United States and can't wake up with us to watch it live, there will be a video on demand on YouTube and Twitch as well. To find out more about Anzia Racing and get involved, you can visit anziaracing.com and also follow their socials on Twitter/X if you're still over there, and Blue Sky as well. And if you've liked what we've said over the last hour about Star Citizen and want to get involved as well, check out Star Citizen at robertspaceindustries.com. So I want to thank Echo and Lens. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you also to Commander Tenna, Dirk, Tint, and Jacqueline for joining us this evening. The Anzia Racing 2955 Crux Cup PRoGP is on Sunday. I can't wait. I hope to see you all there in the chat room on Sunday. And thank you for joining us for this very special edition of the Extra Mile. And we will see you at the next green flag. Good night, everybody.
07.
Terra 7, everyone.